Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, 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 Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava,
So today we are going to cover two subject matters in the Prayers of Queen Kunti. First is she is saying the protection of the Lord for His devotees. And we have to constantly remember that, constantly remembrance of the protection that is given. And on that basis, we have to also see within our life how Krishna has protected us from at least some incident you will recollect. Second subject matter is seeing Krishna's mercy. And to especially Yashoda over Devaki. And how can we obtain this mercy also? So, we have to see Krishna has been merciful to us. Protection and mercy, these two are things, different things. So, the application of Krishna's mercy in our life has to be there, but we forgot. Protection was there, but we forgot. So, if we constantly remember something which was beyond our control, and it so happened that unseen hand of Lord Krishna was there, at least at this point in our devotional life, we must start recognizing it. We have to recognize it. All right. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number, Canto 1, chapter number 8, text number 23. Krishna is the master of senses. Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Surarpita Vimochitam cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva natha muhur vipada ganat Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva nathena muhur vipadakanat Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddharchita Chariti Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva nathena muhur vipadakanat
Yatha Rishikesha Kalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva nathena muhur vipadganat
Mother.
यथा ऋषिकेश खलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्धाति चिरं सुचार्पिता विमोचिताहं च सहजा सहात्मजा विभो त्वयैव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात्
O Rishikesh, master of the senses and the Lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by envious King Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. The conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in greater dangers. Sometimes he puts his pure devotees in such dangers because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. The more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. As far as dangers are concerned, we cannot even have any ability to thwart it. Rather, we go more towards the danger. It's an animal propensity. Has very limited sense perception for the safety even. If you go on the road driving and a squirrel or something runs across your path, but immediately half the way she wants to come back and she will eventually get crushed. Similarly, man becomes blinded in their pursuit of happiness that they do not know the dangers which is at every step. We have to understand that even our egoistic nature, which is a demoniac quality, we will get completely reverse intelligence at the time of danger. Vinashakale viparita buddhi. So, we unrestrictedly take risk. The world, material world, is a very dangerous place, and we think it's very enjoyable. Because there is danger, you want to get entertained just to counteract the danger. Because there is unhappiness, you create an artificial means to get happiness. Make a big business. Because you are dull-headed, therefore you need virtual, or what we call, which intelligence? Artificial intelligence. Because we are dull-headed. We do not know what is good for us, what is bad for us, what is bad for the soul. Na sadhu manya atmanoyam asannapi kleshadaas. Nunam pramattatyavute vikarma. We are engaged in mostly the unbeneficial activity which are not recommended even in the Shastras. So for the soul it is not good, and for the body it's also not good, because body is evidently is a place where miseries are observed or miseries come from the body. So where is the entertainment and where is the counteracting of the problem? But those who have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, samasritaye padapallava plavam mahakpadam punya yasho murare bhavam buddhi vatsapadam. Otherwise, padam padam na vidpadam na tesham. At every step there is danger. At every beginning of an activity there are inauspicious situations. Because all activities, all endeavors are filled with faults. This is Kali Yuga. And how much expertise we can create to thwart the dangers. There are so many things even in the gadgets that are dangerous and harmful. Because after all, it is all radio waves, the microwaves are emanating. Huh? But if we use in Krishna service because we are so surrendered to Krishna, then we always take his shelter rather than the microwave shelter. Microwave shelter is only for getting roasted. Huh? If you want to get roasted, get into microwave. But those who have taken the secure shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then even this material danger is bhavarnava. Arnava means the ocean. It becomes a small, like the water contained in a hoof prints of a calf. Not even a cow, calf. A small, young one of the cow. So those who have taken shelter, some totally, samasrita, padapallava plavam, mahatpadam. Mahatpadam, who is Mahatpadam? Krishna. His steps are so gigantic that within 2 steps he covered the entire cosmic manifestation. So Bali Maharaj could not have anything. The 3rd step, because Bali Maharaj was surrendered soul to Lord Krishna, with the help of his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, gave his head. That is samashrita. So for him, there is no danger. Even hell or heaven, a devotee remains fearless. Because one who has received the so secure shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, you can't compare anything. All the dangers will, be dissipated. Dangers and encounters, Queen Kunti is remembering. Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanad Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krikshatar Mrudhe Mrudhe Aneka Maharathastrato Drauni Astraschamsa Bhiksharakshitaha Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanat Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichratra Mrudhe Mrudhe Aneka Maharathastratato Drauni Astrascha Chamsa Harirabhirakshitaha Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanat Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichratra Mrudhe Mrudhe Aneka Maharathastratato Drauni Astrascham Saharirabhirakshitaha
दर्शनात्
विशाल महात्मे पुरुषार्थ दर्शनात्
सत्सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रात्
असत्सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रात्
मृदेः अनेक महारथास्त्रतो
मृदे अनेक महारथास्त्रतो
पुण्यस्त्रस्तस्मा हरे विरक्षितः
Mothers,
विशाल महात्मे पुरुषाद दर्शनात्
विशाल महात्मे पुरुषार्थ दर्शनात्
अशत्स्वभाय वनवास
असत्सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रात्
मृदे अनेक महारथाश्रो
मृदे अनेक महारथास्त्रतो
द्रौणी अस्त्रास्त्रांश हरे अभिरक्षितः
my dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from great fire, from the cannibals and from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. Now you have saved us from the weapon of Asvathama. Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. We are also put into difficulty, years are years, and we can't solve the problem. We think these are little petty problems, and on our efforts we will solve it. But we did not remember Krishna. Or even if some problems are solved, we do not remember Krishna. In either case, he was not part of our problems. We thought we should take full responsibility ourselves. So, they were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Whatever the saving situations were described, it was all attributed to the Lord Krishna's mercy. Pandavas always remain victorious. Jayatam Panduputranam Yasyam Pakshe Janardana. Even though he was not present, but yet they were saved by the mercy. And we have to see unseen mercy, the hand of Lord Krishna to protect us. How will we see? That is the $64,000 question. We have to go back to certain trying times and remember, all right, and how unseen hand of Lord Krishna saved us from falling into great dangers. We could have been glided down in worst miserable conditions, but something interfered, and so you have to remember something. You can't forget, because even if you do not see Lord Krishna directly to save you, seeing is not important, but saving is important. Right? An omnipresent Lord is difficult to realize. So, seeing the Lord is not much important, because we can't see. We have a lot of limitations. But nonetheless, the protection from the Lord has been given securely to each and every living entity. Kunti is remembering how Krishna saved her and her sons one time after another. And this is called smaranam, thinking of Krishna. How would you remember Lord Krishna? Oh, I have no incident. Krishna never helped me. Why do I have to remember? Huh? Then start from your birth. Huh? Oh, I was so ignorant. But ignorance is no excuse. We should know that we were born helpless. And not that our father and mother have created the provision for us to survive the next moment after. Huh? He kept everything ready. The Lord kept everything ready. Where to find milk, where to breathe, and what is to do. All the necessities were supplied right from the birth. We did not bring those things with us in a shopping bag. So unless the Lord has made the arrangement for our survival, is it not unseen protection? We should think that way. That is called smaranam, remembering Krishna for his mercy, protection, both. Krishna, you are so kind to us that you saved us from many great dangers. Without you, there was no hope. Therefore, vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya apurnava bhavadarshanam vipadat santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya apurnava bhavadarshanam vipadat santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya apurnava bhavadarshanam
vipada santuta saswa tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya punarbhava darshanam
Vipada santuta saswat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya punarbhava darshanam.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For see you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So what is the most danger in our life? To be born again. That is the most dangerous situation. Dying is no problem, but taking rebirth is a problem. Do you have any guarantee that you will have to have the same standard of your learning? It will be more difficult to learn in the schools. It will be more expensive. I got graduated with 200 rupees a month. I did my postgraduate and 200 rupees per month. Do you think can I afford to go back? No way. It's dangerous to take another birth. It's not that easy automatically. Oh, we believe in reincarnation. I'll be reincarnated as what? Oh, that depends upon my karma. It's such a big risk. But Kunti is asking more and more calamities. Let it be repeated. Because you saved, so we are confident that you will save us again. It means there is no more birth and death. Seeing Krishna means there is no more birth and death. Krishna is going to Dwarka. And this separation is not affordable. When Krishna goes away, all the risk will surface out. The life becomes risky if there is no Krishna. So, Kunti says, yeah, when we were in difficulty, you came and saved us. Because we never gave you up. You always saved us. Why should we give up? Are we experiencing that nature of saving at every moment? Prabhupada said there is no guarantee. No life insurance, no health insurance can ever save you from repeated birth and death. And you will not get coverage within this life even. You better believe it. The blanket coverage is in Krishna conscious life insurance. Become a life member. I have one disciple in Fiji, and when I was introduced to her, we went to her office. She was a life insurance agent, LIC policy. Then I introduced myself. I'm also a life insurance agent. Our life membership department was working as giving life insurance. Right? I said, when anybody comes in your office, I know you are going to sure try your hard to sell him your LIC policy. But I'm here to sell you the policy. Don't think I'm going to buy you. He said, why, Maharaj? I said, yours is a cheating business. You take premium, and if somebody defaults, you swallow everything and don't give anything back. And if the person dies paying premium, then you give them hard time to get his insurance money back. And what about the accumulated interest on those? Do you ever pay? Or you just invested those money for your own benefits? But you don't have to pay anything except chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You pay your premium by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That is the only premium we have to pay for our blanket coverage of the lightning, not limited coverage, blanket coverage. You know, blanket coverage means it will cover your whole soul. So, it is said that in a family, a pure devotee is born who is under blanket coverage of Lord Krishna's insurance or shelter. Not only he will be liberated, but he can liberate 21 generations of his birth. 21 parents. So, do you want this free of charge? Said, Maharaj, I will chant. But I said, you have to chant daily. It's not that just telling, oh, I am a devotee, I chant and no regularly. No. We have to pay the premium of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every breath, as long as you live. Is it agreeable? Yes, Maharaj. So I said, you are secure. That's all. So, Queen Kunti is very intelligent. And she is already liberated. And yet she wants to undergo more and more tribulations, so she can never forget Lord Krishna's mercy in saving them. They were not afraid of the calamities. They were not afraid of any situation. They were willing to undergo without complaint. That is the nature of the devotee. Devotee does not complain. Yudhishthira was not envious against these Kauravas who were cheaters. Neither of the Pandavas were ever shown any enviousness even to their rascal cousins. Because Yudhishthira was controlling everybody's consciousness, because he was the eldest brother. He had full faith in Lord Krishna, and he was the willing soul to serve as an instrument in the hands of. Because he was so much confirmed that anything and everything that is going to happen is by the will of the Lord. Not a leaf is going to move without the will of the Lord. So Lord Krishna is directly or indirectly cognizant of each and every affairs. Even starting from the creation. And Brahma Sutra, Vyasadeva explains, Itaraschasre abhigya swarat. Abhigya means cognizant. Itarata means directly or indirectly, cognizant. How Krishna is directly cognizant of each and everyone's affairs? How? Yes. Is that direct or indirect? Or vaya? As far as the quality of consciousness is concerned, it is direct. Paramatma, his Supreme Personality of Godhead's consciousness, is omniscient nature. Omniscient nature is a direct nature. And indirect?
Various agents. Two various agents.
Who are the agents?
Spiritual person. Sun, moon. Sun, moon. Through Yamaraj, through air, through the spiritual gurus.
Yes. Because the Guru is sum total of all the demigods. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana Sarvagunai tatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadgana manorathena sati dhavam. In the embodiment of a pure devotee, all the good characters of demigods are invested. So why do you have to go to the demigods? Better go to good. You'll receive the same thing, but you don't have to go who is able to give and who is not able to give. All these different personalities, they have been given different departments. But Guru is not representative of demigods. Guru is the representative of Lord Krishna directly. But do we call as indirect when you don't see the Guru Tattva in the form of Krishna Tattva? So, if the instructions are same, why would you call it indirect?
One is within and one is without. One is inside, one is outside.
Everything is set in motion. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Hetu nanena kaunte jagadvi parivardate. It's under his supervision that material nature is acting. So all the protections are also provided in the material nature. Material nature, all those who are controlling the material nature, the devatas, they can become an indirect. So, itarataschaste arthe abhikya swarat. Krishna remains totally knowledgeable about each and every living entity and each and every situation, even in the material affairs. He is the cognizant factor. So therefore, if the devotees are in danger, Krishna rushes, reciprocates. Who would like to get the loving relationship interrupted? Krishna does not like. So Krishna always wants to help the devotees. In other words, the mercy of the holy name mercy of the holy name is withdrawn when the devotee gets offended. So how the holy name is so much cognizant that we should never offend a devotee, because the devotional service needs protection. An offender, his devotional service will be doomed. The holy name will withdraw its mercy from him. Only a pure devotee, he is always merciful. Therefore, unless and until an offender begs forgiveness at the lotus feet of an offended devotee, will always remain merciful and pardon him. So, the holy name is also the direct perception of the cognizance and protection for the devotee. If the offender keeps on chanting Hare Krishna Mantra and keeps on offending anybody and everybody in the devotee circle, then what would happen? There is no difference between the holy name and Lord Krishna. His instructions will be redundant. But because he is the absolute authority, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his absolute nature cannot compromise with a neophyte or so-called devotees' offenses. It is a protection. Protection of pure devotion should be there. So let it remain stand still unless and until he corrects himself. So devotional progress will be chopped. So therefore, while chanting congregationally will not create much offenses, because we will be respectful to each other and we will derive each other's strength. It is always beneficial. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Congregational chanting will become victorious. Alone chanting in abhas may be offensive. It will put us into danger. So, the Lord has built-in protection in the association of devotees. So always chant. We will minimize our offenses. We will minimize our anarthas. We will progress faster. Isn't it Lord's protection through the devotees? And the holy name is so much sensitive that any offense out of these 10, they are serious offenses. Other minor offenses are there. But everything can be redeemed if we chant in the assembly of devotees and even prettiously admitting our offense towards them. But 7 except the Vaishnava aparad cannot be redeemed. It is also for the protection. So those who are Vaishnava must be extremely careful not to offend a devotee. A devotee is a devotee by his service to Lord Krishna through the level of the soul, not the body. The devotee is the soul. Body may be apparently so much, ghastly, but nonetheless devotional service will be prevailing. So we need to see the devotee, one who is engaged in devotional service of Krishna. And they should not be offended. Got the idea?
Yes.
So, in offense, taking up offense, or the process of atonements, they are for protection. Here, Lord Krishna was personally present in front of Queen Kunti and the Pandavas, and Kunti is acknowledging that seeing you means there is no longer repeated birth and deaths. Simply seeing you. Now what is the difference between seeing you and remembering intensely? Seeing, how do we see? Yesterday we Premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyam sundaram achintya gunasvarupam govindamadi purusham mahamaham bhajami. It's not that the Pandavas were lucky because Krishna was there and but we don't have Lord Krishna here, so we are not lucky. So where do we have Premanjana? Premanjana can be cultivated by service attitude, to make Krishna happy, to follow his instruction. And Guru gives the same instruction, so Krishna can be happy. Right? For a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. These are easy to understand. Liberating from birth and death. So, the process of rebirth and death over and over again, that is a dangerous situation. In Kali Yuga, to be born as a Shudra, isn't it a dangerous situation? Generally, demigods do not want to come in Kali Yuga because they are afraid that they will slide down, But seeing the devotees, the demigods are inspired to take birth in the devotee family and get the opportunity of pure devotion, so they can be not only liberated, but go back home back to Godhead. Because they are sick and tired of managing the material happiness. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord. That means liberation. In the liberation, we have opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. If the opportunity is not taken even after liberation, then the danger is still continued. Opportunity to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord should be there even after liberation. Decreasing the fever of illusion. Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir
Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir
Vedamana Madapuman Naiva Harati Abhidatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir Vedamana Madapuman Naiva Harati Abhidatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir Vedamana Madapuman Naiva Harati Abhidatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam
Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir Vedamana Madapuman Naivadyate Abhitatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam
Mothers.
Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribhir Vedamana Madapuman Naiva Harati Abhidatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam.
My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education and bodily beauty cannot approach you with sincere feeling. These are the 4 obstacles that we have to become very aware. Actually, these are the 4 dangers that prevent us to take shelter of the Lord. Which are they? Janma means trying to improve himself with respectable parentage. Aishwarya means great opulence. Then Shruta means high education. And Sri means bodily beauty. These are aspired for so-called progress in the society. These are the paths of material progress. But this path is very dangerous because it will not allow us to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead's protection. We think bank balance and everything will protect us, even though, and especially the family members will protect us, but they are all called fallible soldiers. Fallible soldiers means these soldiers are going to die. How are they going to protect you? So, it is impossible for those who are on the path of material progress that they will be able to approach Lord Krishna or think of Lord Krishna or even chant Hare Krishna. It will be very difficult. The root cause of our difficulty in chanting is the path of material progress. How do we balance out? How do we have to balance out? Again, Queen Kunti is telling, to be understood in more detail, Prabhupada is speaking here, that all materialistic men are made after possessing all these material opulences, which, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. And they ignore the Lord by forgetting, deliberately forgetting, becoming agnostic. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing Him feelingly, "Oh Govinda, oh Krishna, please save me." No. If you go in India, there is a certain section of the devotees, certain section of the devotees, but their devotion is only sakam, not even nishkam. But sakam bhaktas are also devotees. But they are thinking that Lord's mercy can be counted on the basis of how many desires they can fulfill. They don't understand that the mercy is in the form of opulence, sense gratification is not mercy. Actually, these are the impediments. But yet, if you ask Prabhu, how are you today? They say, oh, ऊपर वाले की मेहरबानी है, छप्पड़ पाड़ के देता है. He gives us so much that we have to enjoy it, isn't it? But more you enjoy, more you fall. You are losing the mercy of the Lord. They can't say fillingly, means in love of the Lord. Rather, they think love depends upon his sense gratification. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced person becomes materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign as much as the falling of the temperature is a good sign of a sick man. Otherwise, the temperature of sickness will keep on going and going up till he dies. Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Santaya
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Namo Kinchana Vittaya
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Nivritta Guna Vrittaye
Atma Ramaya Santaya
Atma Ramaya Shantaya
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
Kaivalyapataye Namaha
My obeisances unto you who are the property of materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the action and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied and therefore you are the most gentle and the master of the monist. Queen Kunti is reasoning that, my dear Lord, those who are materially exhausted, you are the real wealth of them. And not only impoverished, because they are going to come to you to get your mercy. But if you give them, say, mercy simply by providing material assets, they will be in bad shape. But you don't want to give them. You will try them, through the more tribulations, so they have no other means but to take your shelter. Therefore, you are the real property of those who are materially exhausted. Otherwise, we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that 4 types of people come to me, and one who is, Artha means Dukhi. He comes for the mercy of the Lord to mitigate his material problems. But at the same time, those who are in need of money, they also come. Because they are in trouble anyway. But they come to Krishna because Lakshmi Devi is his wife. You can't kidnap the wife and solve your problems. And Krishna will run after you. So, that is a Ravan's mentality. He calls his death. But the point is, The real protection is in taking shelter. More materially exhausted we become, more dependent will become on Krishna. So, Krishna is real property of those who are materially exhausted. Right? And besides that, Lord has nothing to gain in the material world because it is His creation. It's not a question of gain or loss. It is working perfectly under His direction. And He is not attached to it, means He is not even directly connected with it, the material nature. It is a separated energy. It is His energy, but He is not connected. But He is supervising over, overseeing. And He is taking help of demigods to manage. It means Krishna will remain detached from the material world. He doesn't have to gain anything from the material world. So, therefore there is nothing to do, means nothing to get attached to. We think we have something to do in the material world, that's why we get attached. But then we are attached means we are inviting the problems. Krishna is self-satisfied and we are not self-satisfied. We think material nature will satisfy us. But no. If Krishna is self-satisfied, if you are connected with the self-satisfied, then you will also get self-satisfaction. Atmaram, we have to enjoy within, because Krishna is enjoying within. If Krishna is perfect, simply by connecting ourselves with Krishna, we become perfect. So like that. And because He is self-satisfied, therefore, He is the most gentle and master of the monist. Shanta means those who are peaceful by always meditating on Lord Krishna. And Kaivalya Pataye, Kaivalya means monist. That's the target. So therefore, you are the master of the monist. Kaivalya Pataye. Okay. Muninam Amalatmanam. Muninam means those who are striving to meditate and always think on Lord Krishna. And a living being renounces something for gaining something more valuable. A student sacrifices his child's proclivities to gain better education. A servant gives up his job for a better job. Similarly, a devotee renounces the material world not for nothing but for something tangible in spiritual value. You have to trade in. What are we trading in? Our temporary situations we have to trade in, which doesn't have a value because it's always splitting in nature. The devotees are generally without material prosperity, but nowadays the devotees have a lot. But they have a very secret treasure house in the lotus feet of the Lord. There is a nice story with Srila Sanatana Goswami. He had a touchstone with him, and this stone was left in pile of refuge. A needy man took it, but later on wondered why the valuable stone was kept in such a neglected place. So, did he find out the more valuable gem? And what was that?
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, why we value chanting Hare Krishna more than anything. Do we have to adjust our chanting according to our material circumstances or material busyness? Therefore, we need to develop a qualitative priority in chanting. But qualitative priority. The best qualitative priority time is Mangal Muhurta, 1.5 hours before sunrise. That is the time when more of goodness is more prevailing by the nature's arrangement. As soon as the sun rises, more of passion increases and goodness will subside. People become hyperactive and rush for their job, gulp the coffee cup and move on. That kind of thing. And that is approximately 8 hours of passionate activity. And then the body gets tired, therefore he has to retire in the mode of ignorance. How come this is forced? Don't you need retirement early? So we never sleep. That kind of retirement we need. In Krishna consciousness they say that 24 hours are not enough. By hook or crook we have to invest our mind in thinking of Krishna and all our body engaged in service of Krishna. By hook or crook. So, all these prayers are, the remembrance of Lord Krishna's protection. This remembrance is needing intensification, so Krishna will never escape from our heart, our thinking and willing patterns. Remember in such a way that you will never forget him. What kind of remembrance is called that? We forget time to time the same thing over and over again. Only two things you don't have to forget. Chant Hare Krishna and follow for regulative principles. That is the best service, and security and profitability will be found. Others is a losing game. And if we are forced to do because we have to go through, even though we may not like, a child is dependent and so he has to become adult and start earning and providing the others. But at the same time, Krishna gives us opportunity to retire from it. And we have to take voluntary retirement also. Even before we get too much entangled and lose all the opportunity of liberation. So, anybody has any question? How many did the homework yesterday? Oh wow. Have you brought? So, what was the subject of the homework?
How to see Krishna everywhere. How to see Krishna everywhere.
I didn't hear anything.
How to see Lord Krishna in daily life, every day.
How to see, how to develop the vision, so we can see Krishna daily, in every moment. Okay, who can read? Raise your hand now.
Sakuntaya, so I'm the taste and water.
Wow. Oh, environmentalist. Yes.
He's a fire engineer talking about water.
Every time we drink water, we can remember Krishna.
I'm drinking Krishna.
The taste.
The taste. The RO water or the natural water, artesian water, which water? Yeah. Sea water, you can't think of Krishna. Why not?
Water offered to Krishna.
Eh?
Water offered to Krishna.
But anyway, water means water. If you think the water, you can also think in the terms of how water is mercy of Lord Krishna, that to be distributed. The spiritual master is working like a cloud. Cloud doesn't have its own water. It is coming from the reservoir of the water by sun's rays, it vaporizes and it forms the cloud. But the cloud has a nature to go anywhere and without any cause showers the mercy. So Lord Krishna is the water, but at the same time his mercy is being distributed by his representative spiritual master. That's right. It is a haituki kripa. Without cause. There is no cause. It is done so voluntarily. So Krishna's mercy is causeless. Even though the example is of material nature which was created, but Krishna created by his will and it's separated. Krishna is not the water itself, but it is his energy. But the taste in the water that's satisfying. Can you call Coca-Cola and remember Coca-Cola as Krishna's mercy? Or the taste of Coca-Cola is
No.
Why?
Against four principles.
Huh? Who says? It is 3.5 principle. Because it is controversy. When we think Krishna and the material nature and identity, because it is his energy, our vision should be without any differentiation. Let me tell you the example. When Srila Prabhupada in early times was, when he started the first temple at 26nd Avenue in New York City, he would still go for morning walk in Tompkins Square Park, and devotees will accompany. But this day was particularly the Sunday. In the winter, the previous day, starting from Friday all the way to Sunday, people are in sense gratification mood, and the streets are dumped with so much garbage that even the municipality does not send the trucks cleaning the garbage. So it stays. Now, for more than 48 hours, the garbage remains stinking. So that day was Sunday. And another feature was that it was so windy that the garbage was thrown all over the roads and streets, stinking out. And we had to go make a way. So one devotee said, Prabhupada, this is like hell. And Prabhupada said, it may be hell for you, but it is heaven for me. How to see Krishna even in the filth? Filth is not Krishna. but to see Krishna's mercy that he has given opportunity to preach even in such an environment. And these devotees are coming, and Prabhupada was completely in Krishna consciousness, seeing Krishna everywhere, in every circumstances and opportunity. So like that, how to see Lord Krishna, how Prabhupada was seeing. Anybody else? Yes?
As a fallen souls, we cannot see anything beyond matter. So then, how to see the Lord is a big question. Kunti Mataji glorified in her one of the prayers as Pankajanabi. So as you, Maharaj, as just you mentioned, so Lord has accepted the form in different elements, like within mind, made of wood, form made of metal, and form made of garbage.
And now, the Lord is made of garbage. It's not approved by Shastra. But seeing indifference, what we have to see the target, the aim and objective is Krishna consciousness. That is the to see in every circumstances the hand of Krishna is good or bad. So the garbage can remind us of Krishna. Krishna is not garbage. But because Prabhupada was very, very enthusiastic in any circumstances to preach Krishna consciousness, that's why his vision was so much pure. He used those garbage type circumstances in order to teach the devotees that it is not hellish for him. He can tolerate. He can ignore it. That's not important. Important is Krishna. Like that. How do we see Krishna in our daily life? The daily life with, yes?
By taking the opposite cup, breathing is itself, we can remember Krishna. Without breathing, we cannot live here.
Okay.
He is the owner of all these material things and everything. Without him, we cannot be here.
Okay. Every time you breathe, are you able to remember Krishna?
Yes, you have to.
You have to, right? But you have difficulty in chanting. If you breathe in, can you chant? You can only chant when you breathe out. Have you tried that? Have you tried that? Just try now. Try now. If you breathe in, can you chant? If you breathe out, you can chant. Okay? Take a deep breath and chant Hare Krishna. Take a deep breath while chanting Hare Krishna. You can't do it.
You can if you murmur only.
Eh?
If you murmur only.
No, you can remember. But the process itself is so much, tedious that Krishna gave us at least 50% activity in breathing. If you breathe in deep and then chant, how many mantras you can chant? In one, breathe out. What is the ideal? Okay, breathe in. Count 6 at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They teach you in this pranayama. You have to breathe in and count. You know this. what do you call it?
Pranayam.
Not in pranayam, but this is
Anulom
Anulom Vilom. So Anulom Vilom, you have to breathe in, and so push your nostril and plug it simply by the tongue. All right, and you have to take in the deep breath and count 6. You have to hold it. And then release from the other end. And it should be triple time.
Triple time.
Means 6,
Times 6.
12, and 18. You have to count. Can you do this? That is Anulom Vilom. Yeah. But if don't count, replace with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One is to 2 is to 3. I was taught. But it's a nice exercise. The point is, the numbers are impersonal. But if you replace it with chanting, breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. Remembrance can be done. You can't open your mouth and chant, because it will give you only 50% of, service. You can't chant while breathing in. Because vocal cord will be choked up. So, anyway, remembrance of Krishna, it should be coming. Then they teach you in Savasana. In Savasana, what do? You have to play dead. You have to play dead and withdraw all your consciousness right from the toe to the knee, hip joint, then another, then the hands from the fingers to the shoulder joint, and then start from the Muladhara chakra and pull up. And really you'll feel no activity. You're concentrating on Krishna. Then you raise your consciousness and pull up and put it here at the Agya chakra. From Muladhara chakra, then Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnana. So you raise your... This is a practice. But in remembrance of Krishna, you will get a lot of benefit. Be connected. After yoga is to be connected. Right? So in that process also you can say dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Dharana means conception on the personality of Godhead can be applied. And these are the exercises we have to train ourselves. It's so beneficial. Think of Krishna. Always think of Krishna and never forget Him. Satatam smartavyam Vishnu vismartavyam najatu chit sarva vidhi nishedo shu etoyor kinkara. This is told in Padma Purana. Then chant or remember Lord Krishna, smartavyam, satatam means continuous, without fail. Vismartavyam najatu. Not there should be any moment without remembrance of Krishna. Whatever we apply, vidhi or procedure or nished, that you don't have to do this and that and stop all this activity, that is only subservient to the process of remembrance. Process of remembrance is the topmost. If a pujari does arti and thinks of not the Lord, but it does, his mind goes somewhere else, do you think the puja is going to reach the Lord? No. So, all these vidhis, nished means don'ts, and don't do this, don't do that. They are only a reminder for remembering Krishna. That is the cardinal principle. So, how would you apply this in daily? Yad karoshi yadashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi yad tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam. So, every day, whatever you do, you have to offer it to Him. It is easy to offer prasadam to Lord Krishna through your mouth because He is going to digest. We are offering Him. We are offering Him bhoga, but we are also offering Him prasadam. You take prasad, but who is going to digest? Aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam devamasridam pranapana samayuktam pachanyam chaturvidam. He is the digesting. And don't throw garbage in your stomach and let Krishna digest. That's bad, it's offensive. Kids, watch out. Don't go to McDonald's. So, any other questions, comments? Yes.
We talked about taking Krishna consciousness as the ultimate policy. In terms of the roles and responsibilities of a devotee, what should a devotee do? Should they actually be taking material, life insurance policies?
Is it gambling or not?
Yeah, that's what.
That's correct. Forget the gambling. Don't gamble. Even, but you can invest money in propagating holy name. Distribute books. It gives secure returns. Yes.
I have a better suggestion. Instead of a policy and write it, and the return comes to the temple.
It's gone.
You know what? All the big universities in America and the big churches, they receive, whatever the amount, but they make an endowment policy. Endowment policy means from the says for example, a person donates $1,000. $500 are invested in purchasing a life insurance policy on him by the church. Alright? And the beneficiary will be the church. So, the guy is going to die soon.
The congregation will decrease. Maharaj, we're trying to increase the congregation, not reduce.
No. There are so many people, who are ready. We don't want them to come here even. Only let that policy be. No, that's the way the big university, Harvard, Yale, MIT, and Oxford, they have endowment policies. Big churches. Even when we were making life members, and even now they were suggesting us, why don't you do that? I said, forget it. That's gambling. Prabhupada did not want us to do. We want to give them more, even accept only little from them. We are supposed to give more. Because Krishna is the most precious thing that we have to give. So for that reason, we have to cultivate the community. Make them come and take advantage of the process of Krishna consciousness. Others are illegal, yes.
Maharaj, this is about today's topic. Kunti Maharani, you say, is asking for more calamities so that Krishna will be with her all the time.
Right.
But is separation itself is not a very severe calamity from the Lord?
No. In separation, the Shastra says, you capture Lord Krishna so much within your heart that he cannot escape. So, the separation is the topmost expression of the love. It is so intensified love in separation only, not in union.
Then why Kunti Maharani is asking Krishna to be with him?
No, Kunti Maharani, she has a different kind of love. She is on a paternal love. Aunt and nephew.
And the second is, Maharaj, you said that you remember the Krishna all the time, and how you can see Krishna. Remembering Krishna is in our hand, The devotees can remember the Krishna if they like it. But seeing Krishna, is it not at the discretion of Krishna who he wants to show us?
What is the difference between remembering and seeing?
Yeah, that's what difference I'm trying to see, is that remembrance, we can do it.
Yeah, but there is no difference between remembrance of Krishna. If you do not know Krishna, then you will have different. But we have to know Krishna and then remember him.
Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Antakale cha mameve smaran muktva kale.
That's okay.
Remembrance.
No, smaran. But before that he says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam vyaktiyo tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma maiti mameti. So the vision is given. We have to cultivate that vision and we have to remember that vision. Even for us to understand one pose of Lord Krishna is damn difficult. Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham. Niyata Prakasham is eternally shining. And we can't understand one pose of our deity properly. What to speak when he will start walking. You will go crazy. Yeah. And then there are so many incidents. Gornita will go away. They want to go in the town. There are a lot of, in Bhaktamal, you will see so many incidents of deity reciprocating in such a way to foster the faith of the people. Sakshi Gopa. So, that Brahman had a vision and perfect vision with perfect understanding that if he can speak, he can walk also. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalanti charanjagantin anandam chinmaya sadajvala vigrahasya govindamadi. That's not ordinary form that we are looking. It's Ananda Chinmaya, Rasa Vigraha. This one pose has to be remembered. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanana santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokanti. You have to see good hridayeshu, and you have to cultivate the eyes of knowledge. These eyes must be not only of the knowledge, but these eyes must be anointed by the salve of love. Sadaiva vilokanti. And that pose, Shyamam Tribhangalalitam pose. If we remember that and become so much attached that we are ready to sacrifice our life for that, he will be always there. Niyata prakasham. That is the Govinda Madi Purusham. Devotees can cultivate that vision, that way to see, and then no problem. So understanding Lord Krishna's absolute truth, his form, means unless and until we chant Hare Krishna, we will not be able to understand the form of the Lord. Then what to speak of his divine qualities and what to speak of the divine activities. Nama Rupa Guna Leela, they manifest according. But if we serve the holy name, then other three are following. So, chant Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Chanting constantly is only possible. Kirtaniya Sadahari is only possible when Pranada Pishunachena, Darod Vatshaishana, These three things are essential. So that is the way to chant and then realize, then meditate upon that Istadev which is sitting in your heart with the salve of love painted in your eyes of knowledge. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Holiness Vedavyasapriya Swami Maharaj.